Welcome to the I Speak Fundy Biosphere series. We want to become more fluent when speaking about the Fundy Biosphere. In this series, we'll be covering everything from the sciences of ecology and forestry to climate action and even hiking, exploring, and tourism. Join us as together we learn how truly special the Fundy Biosphere is. Welcome to the Fundy Biosphere I Speak series. Today I have with me Emma Foster of Chickadee Apparel. How are you doing, Emma?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. So tell me a little bit about your company, when it got started and all that.
Yeah, for sure. I just started it this year, like in 2021. Really kind of just started with I got an iPad and I started drawing on like the graphic design apps and stuff. And once I came across myself designing the Chickadee logo, I really liked it, and then I kind of just ran with it from there. Um, really just decided like I liked it a lot, and I kind of showed it around and people liked it. I said, oh, I can make some shirts. And previous to getting the iPad and everything, I've been designing stuff on Photoshop, but nothing that like really kind of like stuck with me that I liked. But the Chickadee just really stuck, so I decided to kind of just let it snowball from there.
Now we've known each other for actually I think we've known each other since we were kids, but
Yeah.
you got started, and what actually stood out to me when you started this company was that you wanted to have an impact or sort of make an apparel line for people who explore the outdoors.
Yeah, I really wanted to be as inclusive as possible. I already knew about the different problems, I guess you could say, within the hiking and camping and outdoor communities with being inclusive. Uh, but now that I've been more in it for the past couple of months, I've really seen how bad it can be with like on the trails, especially like homophobia, sexism, racism. It's absolutely insane
Yeah.
how these problems are so huge in the general public in the world, but even on the trail, and really realizing how bad it is, I guess. So I'm really trying to just spread positivity, spread that like the outdoors is for everyone, especially in a time right now where we don't get to travel and see new places. We can try to find new places right in our own provinces. So I do my best to try to spread that message, as well as like on my website, for our different shirts and stuff, we go up to 3XL, and I have the ability to order like special order up to 5XL. So it really doesn't matter like your size, who you are, male, female, like with friends, without friends, like you should be able to enjoy the outdoors.
That's awesome. That's something that when I drove across the country, I sort of took for granted. I never really, like, I grew up in New Brunswick and drove across the country and was like, oh, all these pretty places, but then didn't realize or recognize how unique and things like the Fundy coastline and Hopewell Rocks and stuff like that. It's actually super cool, a lot of the places, and some places that are a little hidden that you may have to hike to, but it's cool to be able to be inclusive and try to get people, because regardless who you are, being outside and getting fresh air is definitely good for you.
Oh, 100%. And like in 2019, I went on my first like not vacation, but the first time really truly leaving the country. I had gone away once as like a kid with my parents, but I don't really have much memories, or I didn't have much experience because I was younger. But in 2019, I went to Iceland with my friend,
Wow.
and experiencing a different culture and like just amazing waterfalls and amazing beaches and all that kind of stuff. But it really makes you think about how like there's so many amazing places like that right here in Canada and in New Brunswick that we really take for granted, I think. Where I feel like a lot of people are constantly looking like, where the grass is greener. Like, oh, I want to see the West Coast. I want to go to Hawaii. I want to see Bali or Australia. But like, that's great. Like, those are great places, and they're be awesome to go see them. But there's so much cool stuff right here.
Well, and there's 4 seasons here, which is ridiculous. Like, I spent some time in BC, and like you say, going to Iceland, you can see it and it's pretty, but I feel like that's something that can almost wear off after a little bit, that it's like, yeah, we live somewhere beautiful. That's awesome. But here it's like every winter is different. Like this winter, we didn't have a lot of snow, whereas some winters it's like 10 feet of snow. It's ridiculous. So it's nice that where we live is temperate forest, and we've also got coastline. So you drive 2 hours anywhere in New Brunswick and you can be somewhere so unique and so beautiful.
100%. And like I've even talked to like people more recently. Like one of my best friends is from Edmonton, and while talking to her the other week, I mentioned like I haven't even been in northern New Brunswick besides driving through to Quebec, and she was shocked. She's like, "What do you mean you've never been? I've never been to like Bathurst or Campbellton or any of those places, and I know they have such cool stuff up there, but
Yeah.
sometimes you take it for granted what's close and you just try to go farther kind of thing. And vice versa, that same friend who grew up in Evanston and lives here now, we were coming back from the Midland Ice Caves, which are kind of like near Norton, Sussex area.
Mhm.
And we came back through Fundy Park and then up the coastline to Riverview. And coming through the park, she's like, "Oh my God, this is beautiful! Wow!" And I was like, "Yeah." Like I was like, "Have you never been to Fundy Park before?" And she was like, "No." And I'm like, "What? You've never been to Fundy?"
You're calling me out for never been to Evanston, but like you've never been to like our national park that we've
Exactly.
got. You've never.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. So the true tell of an outdoorsman or outdoors person, I guess it would be,
Yeah.
in New Brunswick is if you've done if you've done the Fundy footpath. Have you hiked the Fundy footpath yet?
I haven't. I do want to, but I consider myself like I'm definitely an avid hiker. I like hiking. I've hiked the past couple of years. Probably since like 2016-ish, I've been hiking. Um, but I don't feel that myself would be prepared enough to do that, especially alone.
Yeah.
Um, I definitely really want to, but I'd want to go with someone who has more experience than me.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, most people that I drag hiking have less experience than me.
We're trying to be more inclusive. That makes sense. Like that's
Exactly,
actually
exactly.
helpful. I'm hoping to go twice this year. I'm hoping to go once to enjoy it and then once to film it. If that actually ends up happening, we'll see how things open up and pan out for being able to go on
For
trips
sure.
with people. But where is your favorite place in the Fundy Biosphere? Do you have a favorite place to hike, explore?
I really uh like Riverside, Albert kind of area. That's where like Crooked Creek is. The waterfall is also a trail that's not even near the waterfall at all, a full trail to the lookout. The first time I saw that lookout, I like this sounds dramatic, but it took my breath away. Like I was trying to find the waterfall, but was on the wrong trail and ended up at the lookout. And I was shocked that I was even in New Brunswick when I saw
Yeah.
it. And also in that area, you have like Mary's Point, like the bird sanctuary. That's a really cool place, and I feel like I'm really privileged in growing up. My parents didn't like take me to Disney World, and they didn't take me to the CN Tower or anything crazy, but they did take me to Fundy. And since living in Riverview, I've had a really good experience with my dad, especially like four wheeling and stuff down into those areas. Because a lot of those places I wouldn't have found without my parents talking about it or showing me or anything
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, the Fundy Park is so big. And I remember like I've been there for years. Like I've gone for probably decades even. And it's something where every time I go, you can find a different waterfall or a different trail. And that was what I enjoyed about the footpath was that you get to see a lot of that you can hike to in a day. So if you don't want to do the entire footpath, you can hike to for an hour or whatever, but seeing it day after day for 3 days straight is just incredible to see all
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah, I would literally like I really enjoy camping, like tent, trailer. Probably not fully under the stars. I might be a little scared of bears doing that, but it'd be cool to be able to do like a backpacking trip like the Fundy footpath and be able to camp on along the way and like every day wake up and almost wake up and go on a new adventure for each leg of it.
Now, do you you mentioned it earlier actually, which was kind of cool. We have 50 amazing places as a Fundy Biosphere. Are you familiar with our amazing places?
I am not with all the whole list, but I have seen the signs and like out exploring. I have seen the logo and everything.
So we've got 50 of them, basically from St. Martin's all the way up to Cape and Rage. I think I'm getting that right. I hope I didn't
Yeah.
mess that up, but I was hoping to visit all of them. But if anybody's listening or watching this cast and they would like to visit some and then tag us in it, we would definitely appreciate that. Is there any tips or tricks for hiking for people that maybe don't get out a lot or that feel that it can be too strenuous? Like they feel like hiking is more the footpath rather than just a leisurely stroll. Is there any tips you'd give to people?
Yeah, for sure. I would first of all always go with someone. Even if you are experienced, there's been tons of stories, a lot of stories out west in like the Rockies. People think, well, they don't think, they know they're experienced, but you never know what's gonna happen. If you get hurt, if you run into a wild animal, like there's so many things that can be dangerous, and it's really good to have a second person there or
Mm,
third, fourth. So definitely traveling in a team. Don't forget water. Been there, done that. It's not fun.
yep.
You will get dehydrated and the rest of your hike will be very much less enjoyable.
Yes.
So definitely bringing water is up there on the list of things not to forget. And also don't overthink it. you don't have to go to like Sports Check and buy like new pants and new sneakers and a book bag and this whole 9 yards. Just like, grab comfortable shoes that you have at home, wear whatever, leggings, jeans, shorts, like, be comfortable. But don't overthink it. I feel like some people think you have to buy so much just to, even just for a day hike. Like, you really can just go as you are, I guess. Which kind of helps in the sense of you don't have to spend a bunch of money. Hiking and exploring is a very affordable hobby, just besides the gas to get where you're going.
Yeah. It's so nice. I know some people that I remember in university when I first started getting out into exploration and hiking and things. And there would be these guys that were getting into biking, like super into that. So they'd get like the skin tight clothes and shorts and everything. And they'd do it for like a week. And then I'm like, you invested so much money and time in that. And now you don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
So it's nice. It's just nice for people to be able to get into something with, I've hiked trails in Fundy and flip flops. So it's not that hard.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that can be like, this morning I was talking to someone, a friend, about the Funny Foot Path, and I was saying how that would be one example. A multi-day hike is when you'd want to be maybe thinking a little bit more about being prepared.
Yeah.
You can't just, walk off in your flip-flops kind of thing. But in general, like if you're just starting out, like day hikes or even just like, an hour hike, you really don't need all this crazy gear. And that's another thing that I try to push, I guess, with Chickadee is like, simple t-shirts, simple hoodie, like simple hat. Like, you don't need to buy an $100 hoodie just to hike in it. Like,
Yeah.
You want to be comfortable, but you shouldn't have to be broke. And especially to the people who don't have a lot of money to spare, they have bills to pay. They don't have the money to spend on hobbies that can cost hundreds of dollars.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're looking for a nice hike, a nice quick hike that I know a lot of people do on their lunch break, you can go to Mapleton Park in Moncton. I remember that from when I worked there, that I just take my half-hour lunch break, drive there real quick, and just do the loop. It was beautiful because it's so relaxing to be out in the trees. And sometimes you'll see people, but other times you get to be by yourself, maybe even pop in your headphones. So
Yeah,
go ahead.
So there's a lot of great trails, like especially for beginners around Moncton. And I mean, I'm other cities as well, but there's tons of options without having to, drive an hour or 2 hours if that's not for you. Like, there's plenty of options of in-town trails.
Yeah. Now, some people may be asking, who is this girl? Why are we talking to Emma? And I think this is a good time, since we haven't talked about it, we haven't introduced it yet, that we have partnered with Chickadee to do our membership program, which is pretty cool. They haven't been printed yet and they're 100% not ready. So I can't even show you them, but we're pretty excited. Hopefully by the time this podcast is released, I'll be able to put them either on the screen or we'll be able to post about them. But we're excited to have our logo. Emma designed our logo and she's getting stuff printed for us so that we can, you can be a Fundy Biosphere member. So if you want to support us in the work that we do, to support this podcast, to support our efforts to help either businesses, organizations, and just raise awareness to ecology and exploration and a ton of other things, then when those are out, we're going to be taking pre-orders shortly. So be sure to order one of those. What did you think when we approached you for that partnership, Emma?
Well, I was really excited because also just because knowing you for so long and being able to work with you is really fun. But really excited just to be able to be partnering on something like this. Like, designing my own stuff is fun, but it's kind of, a little bit different for somebody else. It's a bit more, having to go back and forth on deciding things and having to work together to come to the conclusion was really fun. And it's just a great way to continue to spread my message and Fundy Biospheres of getting out and enjoying the province this year.
Yeah, I'm so excited about getting to go hiking and explore. And I even have a bunch of other people to talk to for this podcast that I think will be amazing to be able to spread awareness about what's going on and the different, maybe even some issues that people are having. I know I have some ecologists and some people that are coming on with regards to watershed and some animals and stuff like that. So it'd be cool to reach into that realm. But thank you so very much. Where can people find more about you or reach out to find some Chickadee merch?
So I have Facebook and Instagram, just Chickadee Apparel. We also have a website for shopping. It's chickadee-apparel.myshopify.com. No domain name yet, but we're working on it. So yeah, you can social media and our website.
So check out Emma's stuff. That's awesome. So thank you very much. But I would appreciate if you wait just a little bit until the Fundy Biosphere stuff comes out, because she gets a part of that and then we get a part of it as well. And hopefully that we can grow that partnership and that we can teach some more people about hiking. Emma, I am pretty sure that this won't be the last time that I have you on this podcast, but thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thanks. For more information about the Fundy Biosphere or to contact us, you can find us on social media or visit us at fundy-biosphere.ca.